Mhm. Hello, everybody. I am Sam Murphy, and I'm here with my good friend, Greg Klaumenzer. And I don't know if you've joined us before. If you're just picking up here, we have another video that you can check out that we really were getting into this conversation and dialogue of mastering the inner game of business and really discussing the misunderstandings or common, misperceptions of what success is and what it's going to give us, and really diving into kind of state of mind and the benefits behind in this new paradigm for business. And Greg has 10,000 plus hours of experience, real time in coaching, with working with thousands of different clients. And this is not just theory, this is in practice, and where he has seen it actually play out and the results and benefits that come with this, and really wanting to just share this with you all and have a bigger reach, be able to touch more people and impact more lives.
Yeah, awesome. So I think if for anybody watching, if you've ever gotten a little bit down in your business, this is a good video to listen to maybe help understand that. Or if you've gotten discouraged with how things are, discouraged with, the people on your team, or if morale's down, or if sales are down. I think this is really important to help you understand that if you continue to do things the way you're doing with your current thinking, that's kind of the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. And so my promise here, with our dialogue, Sam and I, is to open up a new world for you that opens up new possibilities and gives you a real fresh approach to doing business. Because I think as business owners, particularly people who have been in business a while, so many of them feel like they just want a fresh start. It's like they when they first started off in their business, they were very enthusiastic. I remember as a coach coming out, I was really enthusiastic, and it didn't take long to get discouraged and go, wow, there's a little more here than I thought, kind of burned all my bridges and now I'm in, so to speak. And so if you've been discouraged at all, I think this is a really important video to watch. And if you're impacted by stress, this is also really, really important, because what we'll share here will ultimately give you insight into where stress comes from, where depression comes from, where discouragement comes from, and put you back behind the wheel, and really breathe a life of hope back into your business. So I just kind of want to throw that out there for why it might be a good idea to listen in. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is super important and vital, so that they know what they're here for and what's coming. One of the things that I think is so imperative, and we talked about in the first video, but if you could just recap it, is, a lot of times people focus on a result and what they want to get from a result. But what is really behind that when you think of state of mind?
Mm-hmm. So like recapping, like what drives results.
Yep, just a quick recap of, how that really relates to the inner game.
Got it. So a lot of times in the business world, everybody's looking for results, return on investments, growing revenue, profits, profitability, increasing margins, so on and so forth. And the business world at large, is looking for strategies. They're looking how to be a better leader. They're looking at training. They're looking at, marketing. And these are all things kind of in the periphery of the business. And very few people, and one of the most overlooked parts about really succeeding in business is what we all have in common, like the human capital and understanding the human system and unlocking that potential within the human psyche, the human capital within an organization. And unless we open that, unless we unlock that, we're really limited. And what we do is we keep grasping for things outside, total quality management programs and retreats and things like that. And so we're looking, business owners are looking for the outside in and grasping for straws, really, rather than looking at how to unlock the human potential. So to recap, kind of the skeletal system that we pointed out in the last video is what drives results is performance, okay? And what drives performance is behavior, and what drives behavior is mood, and what drives mood is our thinking. And then underneath all of that is really principles that unlock the human potential and what's possible. And those are mind, consciousness, and thought, and understanding what those actually mean and how to reconnect with those makes a real big difference in business.
Right. That makes sense. Now, question for you, because I feel like there's starting to be more of a buzz around this word and topic in kind of just today out there. Is this the same thing as mindset?
Yeah. You could say, mindset, if we look at mindset, so to me what mindset means is that it's a way of viewing the world that's set. Okay? So it's really fixed, okay? Mm-hmm. So what happens is from moment to moment we have the ability to have a new mindset. Okay? Now, what happens is that you could say that what's limiting business owners and professionals of performance and results is that there's a mindset that they have that they can't see that's actually interfering with them doing any better than they're currently doing. So, there's a lot of talk around mindset, but all mindset is a state of mind, okay, mm-hmm. that is presenting itself through thinking and feeling and behaving. You there's another word for that. You could just say it's a way a person's showing up in life, or it's a way of being. And another way of saying it is that you could say somebody is stuck in a fixed mindset, and by being stuck in that fixed mindset, their opportunities are going to be limited. Their possibilities are going to be limited because they're in a fixed way of viewing the world. So I think mindset is really important, but I don't think people understand what mindset is. They think it's all thinking, okay? But mindset actually is broader than that. It's really an overarching attitude that includes thinking and feeling and how the world's occurring for me, okay? And I think a lot of mindset out there thinks it's just all thought, And what's different about what we're talking about and what's often called the missing link is that we're always feeling our thinking in the moment, okay? Mm-hmm. And when people start to see that we live in a world of thought and we're always feeling our thinking, which is creating a mindset in the moment, and that mindset has implications and limitations, okay? And once we start to see that, and we start to see that I'm the one creating that, okay? I'm the one that's creating that mindset or that state of mind, or I have something to do with that way of being in which I'm showing up in the world. That's really powerful for people. And why it's powerful, and I'll talk about it maybe more in some of the other videos, is that at the very least, I would say that what happens is that people just become a victim of their mindset, okay? And how you know that they're a victim of their mindset, they'll start making excuses. Well, Sam, you don't understand. This is just the way I am.
Right.
Okay? And what's really beautiful about this work is that you're only one thought away from a whole new you.
Right.
That's really, really hopeful, particularly anybody who's discouraged or stressed out. And the deeper you understand this and realize this for yourself, you go, holy smokes, I don't have to be a victim of my state of mind or my thinking or my mood. And so you start to regain really and be empowered by these understandings instead of a victim of them. That
I
makes
think
sense?
that makes a lot of sense. You know, as everything that you were talking about, really just that fixed mindset. And I guess one of the things too, you hear buzzwords out there now is like the growth mindset, which we call it whatever they want, but being able to realize that you are in control and taking back that power and being able to get out of that victim mindset. And I think one of the things that's interesting that I love that I've heard you talk about before is if you ever say these things, you might be in a victim mindset. You know that, how do you identify? Because so often people are, I'm not a victim. I'm not in victim mindset. And, you know, just a couple, even the examples that you just gave, somebody's like, oh, well, I have said that before, you know, and people not realizing even, which I think with all of this comes just a new awareness.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And the reason people don't realize it is it's just they're living in an erroneous paradigm, you know, and it's very innocent, you know, and you know often, and you've heard me talk about this before, and a lot of the teachings when it comes to the principles, this fundamental understanding under the human experience. It's a real solution. Sometimes the best way we can even get to that or point to that is through stories, analogies, and metaphors, you know, because it really is this invisible power that drives everything, you know. So what happens is that people get stuck in a fixed mindset. It's kind of like they're in an old paradigm. Okay, and you've heard me share the paradigm. Like there was a time on the planet here that people thought the world was flat. Okay, and people just imagined that, and there was a collective conscious agreement that was the case, and nobody really questioned it. And then somebody had an insight or an understanding or a fresh idea that, I think the world's round, you know, and how they came to that or insight or that bump in consciousness or that bump in, you know, in truth or wisdom or whatever you want to call it, set forth a whole new exploration and deepening their understanding. And some people set sail to, you know, go off and see if they would actually sail off the edge of the earth, and they didn't. And so what happens is there's two paradigms. You know, there's a paradigm that the world's flat, you know, and there's a paradigm that the world's round, and the truth always prevails, you know. But in the beginning, the person who had the insight of this new paradigm that the world's round and not flat was not well received by the flatlanders, you know. And even the people that set sail, you know, originally from the flatlanders' point of view, they got to be right, because they saw the ship sail, and it went off the edge of the horizon. And the flatlanders go, see, we told you, you know, it's like the world's flat. They fell off the earth. It wasn't until they returned with silks and spices and stories of these other lands that the people were kind of confronted with, oh, you know, there may be a greater truth here, you know. And these people were not well received, you know. And so I share that with what we're going to be talking about the inner game of business, you know. Inherently, particularly if you're driven and you're set in an outer game of business, okay, that it's really normal, okay, to maybe want to resist some of the things that you and I are going to be talking about here, okay, and that's really normal, okay, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. What we're talking about is not true, and it doesn't mean that it's a better operating system, okay. Because that's what we're sharing with you is an upgraded operating system for the human experience, which translates into better business and really making real positive gains in that domain.
Right. And with that being said, so giving an example of a different paradigm, and I think the world is flat is a perfect one, just showing people this was known to be true until it wasn't.
Yes.
You know, and then bringing us to the new paradigm for business. So tell me about what that really means. You know, we've got the idea that there was this existing and now there's something else, but give us a little light as to what that is, even if we might feel, or some of the viewers out there might feel, oh, I don't know about that, you know, that they feel that resistance that you've said, but.
Well, so as a business owner, we're bombarded with our own feelings of stress on a day-to-day basis about frustrations with maybe people in our organization or whatever it is. And it never occurs to an individual in the flatland, okay, that they're creating their experience, okay? And it really looks like it's the employee or the virtual assistant isn't coming through, or the economy has changed, or whatever the case may be. So kind of the old model is, I have a lot of clients in the mortgage industry, okay, and you could say that a mortgage client in a flatland mentality, when interest rates go up or the feds raise the rates, they're just completely overwhelmed and they have a thinking going, oh my God, what's that going to do to the market, and they start worrying about production, and it gets them into an insecure mood, and they start really worrying, and so they're being affected by what's happening outside in, politically, economically, and all that. And they let that define them and really impact what's possible for them, okay? Now, an inside-out approach, or this around world paradigm, a mortgage guy would go, well, yeah, the rates always go up and down, and there's always going to be people who want to refinance or buy or be in a situation, and I'm not really affected by that. And so they stay in a really high state. They know that they're good at marketing. They continue to market, and they continue to do the things they do, and they go about life, and because they have an upbeat attitude and a high state of mind, they see opportunities everywhere. People, they're more attractive to people. They're more approachable. But the Flatlander, he starts maybe even posting stuff on Facebook. The world's ending. There's doom and gloom, and then what does that do to his overall demeanor? People don't really want to hang out with that. Now, a lot of people don't see the connection to any of this, and they look at, well, it's the outside world that's why I feel the way I am, So that would be kind of an example. I have someone else, a client that is working with a virtual assistant, and they called me the other day and said, this just isn't working. This person, we're butting heads and this and that. And this client does not see yet, okay, that they're creating that experience, or they have something to do with it, okay? And so they're saying, hey, I think I need to let this person go. And I said, well, that's fine. My philosophy is hire slowly, fire quickly, so that's fine. But if we start to see a pattern here with rapid turnover, then you and I are going to have a conversation, okay?
Right.
We're going to have a conversation. And I kind of already know. The fact of the matter is that this person has a difficult time staying in rapport with people, okay? And that their leadership style is very authoritarian, okay? And if we understand that model often is born out of insecurity and fear, okay? All right, that's the underlying state of mind, okay?
Right.
It is fear and insecurity and confusion. But this person doesn't see that is actually affecting the virtual assistant, to be confused. This person doesn't see that their distractive thinking or restless thinking is impacting the people around them, They don't see the fact that their word has anything to do with why people aren't buying their products and services, So, this in itself is a perfect example, of somebody who has a lot of stuff going on. Now, this guy is actually going through a divorce too, okay?
Right.
Now, given the fact that somebody's going through a divorce, that can be really overwhelming, and people have a lot of thinking about a divorce in terms of people feel threatened over the finances, over custody, over stuff and things, okay? And if you look at that, the person that's deep in that process, that's going to determine how they see the world. Okay?
Right.
And they're going to see the world as kind of a dog-eat-dog place about, you become a lot more distrustful of people. You're not really sure what people's intentions are, And so what that does is you hold back, and you're not living from your heart and living from your essence and giving people the benefit of the doubt. Sam, I know she has good intentions and she just wants what's good for other people. You just don't see it that way when you're stuck in a low mood, and a lot of insecure thinking about something. So that's what we're pointing to in these discussions, you and I, is helping people understand that their thinking and their moods are really impacting their businesses. So you could say something on the personal front is bleeding over into the work. And you could also say that people's work can bleed over into their relationships. Like when people don't see this and they think that a loss of a deal, or a loss of a client is the source of why they're so unhappy, and they take that unhappiness home, and they're in that low mood and they're a victim of that, that has implications in their relationships. Now, what's really beautiful about this understanding is, this mastering the inner game of success is not only do people's businesses get better, but their relationships get better. And that's really, really important. And not only their relationships, but as people start to share these principles and understandings within their business, time and time again, what's rewarding is the business owners see that the employees, they're getting along better with their children and their significant others, and that's some of the real gold in all of this understanding.
Right. I think one of the things that's so profound from what you said too is people just really understanding or having that realization or coming to that place where they are 100% responsible, or ownership of their experience, how they relate and react to that. Well, this is so amazing, and I hope everybody out there watching is enjoying it. There is more for you to come, so please tune back in and check out some of our other videos where we will continue to go deeper onto this topic of mastering that inner game of business, which can improve business and, like Greg just said, overall your life and the relationships of those that you come into contact with.
Cool. Awesome. So just real quick, Sam, what was one thing you got out of this conversation?
Yeah, one of the things that I love about it is, so for me, there's so much that we vibe and jive on the same scale. Like when you say something, I'm like, I totally think that too, just really going into that people overlook that thoughts become feelings and feelings become behavior, and just how kind of working that skeleton backwards, like you said, and what's really underneath, and then what's dictating that. And the victim mentality, and really, I think a big piece is just the ownership. You have the ability in any moment, at any time, to change how things are going to look, how you're going to feel, how you're going to move forward, and how empowering that really can be for people. And it's something I think that people so much of that, and I know people don't really like the word victim because no one wants to be a victim. I remember when somebody told me, I think you're really identifying with things that have been done to you. And I said, I have not. And then I was like, okay, maybe I was. I was, right? Yeah. Live and learn. And, but yeah, there's just so much of that I think for me that really hits home, that 100% ownership of the experience, and that you are in control to change that any moment, your life, your reality, your relationships, and where that can go, and then how that does ripple effect to your friends, your family, and then outward from there. And I think seeing that is so cool.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Cool. Well, make sure you guys check out our next video, and we'll see you there.